Well, a very unfortunate situation as I'm standing in the driveway for Kennywood, and I obviously had plans on coming today to check out Phantom Fest, a very successful and exciting event, which due to tragic circumstances only last night, the park is now closed. It's Sunday, it's 3 o'clock. And there is a fairly significant police presence at the park right now, including at the gate on the other side. So yeah, it is very disappointing, but I figured I'd use this opportunity to really kind of speak on the recent developments as far as security is related, and also with these Phantom events and Fright Fest events. We've definitely seen more increased security. But, there are disappointed people kind of circling around as I see someone up there kind of freaking out that they can't get into the park. It's disappointing to say the least. My heart goes out to the victims right now, and there's really no update as far as how they are. I'm not really here to speak on that right now. I just wanted to give sort of a status from the park since I am here. And for those of you that might be fascinated about what's going on, it's really, I really don't know what to say other than it's not surprising, unfortunately. I've noticed, having done just 4 haunts already this year, that while security has definitely increased, stay tuned for my Kings Island vlog where I directly address that. One of my former favorite haunts, and yes, I did say former because it does look like the haunts themselves have been compromised from a budget standpoint in order to cover security needs. So I'm just going to give you a look at the parking lot, because that's all really we can do here, is to give you a look at what's going on with security. I might get kicked out of here at some point. I'm just going to look back at where my car is, because there's people screaming around here too. So if we switch it around, you can see that unfortunately what would normally be a very busy Sunday at Kennywood is a ghost town. I know I've already been to this park this year on a busy day in July, and the whole point for me to get back here was to get on Steel Vengeance, hopefully for a couple of re-rides during the day, and also to get on Exterminator, which I haven't been on. But unfortunately, that won't be the case yet again. I don't really have much luck with Kennywood when it comes to timing of situations like this. So if you can see all the way in the background, there is some police presence over there. But that's as far as we're going to cover this today. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what's going on, as I kind of just discovered it myself. And unfortunately, it means that, yeah, we will not have a vlog from Phantom Fright Nights this year. In fact, we won't have another vlog from Kennywood this year, period, because the park is soon to close. And there's really no idea what's going to happen with Fright Fest or Phantom Fest, sorry. So many fests that I get the names always confused. But unfortunately, yes, it does mean that we won't be coming to the park until next year, which hopefully it will be a little bit less controversial of a visit at that time. Anyhow, seems to be some, there's a guy retrieving his car. Where did the Fright Fest take place? In the park? If you're asking where this particular Fright Fest takes place, it's all throughout Kennywood. Definitely check out my vlog from 2018 where I cover that situation really in depth and do all of the houses. There is one maze that I did pay for in advance. It's brand new. It's an Alice in Wonderland maze. It's $15 American for that experience, which is the most expensive maze ever in America as far as I'm concerned. Outside, yeah, Fuji-Q Highland has the most expensive haunted house of all time, but it's well worth it. So I was very curious to see how this one would shape up to that. It's a choose your own adventure maze. They also had a blackout Noah's Ark as a feature this year, taking cues from that Fuji-Q event, haunted house, where they hand you a flashlight and then you do a self-guided tour through Noah's Ark, where there's scare actors hiding inside the maze. Really gutted that I didn't get to try that this year, because I feel like that would have been very fun to try. But unfortunately, yes, Kennywood is closed. I've said that a billion times now. The fight I did see, I don't actually know where it took place other than the incident itself. Obviously, news is still trickling in. 2 teenagers were shot. Another was injured. An adult was injured, I believe. Suspect, I believe, has been apprehended. So it doesn't appear to be anything other than security protocols and trying to figure out what they're going to do in the future as far as to prevent an incident like this taking place. But I'm going to say this now. I'm going to wrap this little mini video up with this. If these things continue on, not only is it a reflective, if you watch my vlogs, of my own observances of how disturbed I was with how out of hand crowds have gotten, even at my home park, as many will know from Wonderland. It did happen inside the park. It did not happen outside the park. That I do know. Part of the reason why the park is closed, because it would have been a different situation if it was outside of the park. It's a different jurisdiction legally than inside, and that means that they probably would have been still able to open today, because they are liable for security inside the park but not outside the park, which is why I can't believe what has been happening at theme parks recently. Yes, it's absolutely ridiculous. And further to the point I was making, that if this continues on, it's only going to get worse for us. I've studied the history of Canada's Wonderland for the past 30-40 years now, and we're getting close to to our current decade. And if you'll notice, the difference between all those decades is increased security, increased protocols to keep crowds under control, and more unruly crowds. I don't know what it is about us now. Maybe it's I don't want to say about the past 2 years, but it definitely seems, and I noticed this in 2019, that crowds are getting a little bit out of control. And being a vlogger alone, you do get a lot of that attention drawn towards you, and you see the worst of it at most times. So it's really unfortunate. We come here to enjoy ourselves. We come a long way sometimes. And one particular individual will ruin thousands of people's day out just because of that. Not let alone the victims that we really do hope are okay. It sounds like they're not succumbed to serious injuries, which is good. But no matter what, in any circumstance, this is ridiculous. I'm really upset about the fact that this has happened, and I really hope that maybe this will set an example in 2 retrospects, protocol for how these events are taking place going forward, and also other parks watching this park and saying, hey, we don't want an incident like that, so we're going to take steps and measures to prevent it. Okay, that is a lot that I've just covered in 10 minutes from this unexpected video here at Kennywood. But I'll give you a shot of Phantom's Revenge in the background. Unfortunately, we won't be riding it. We won't be riding Racer because it was also under service as of a week ago for a retrack work over the winter period. So bye, Kennywood. Thanks for a great 2022 earlier. And my thoughts are with the victims, and hopefully there will be a better situation, a better circumstance for this park next weekend. I'm sure they'll be back up and running, and I'm sure much more news will come down the wire. But just on this mini tour of the states that I'm on for haunts, there's been no shortage of news coming down the wire at the parks that I've been. So what do you say? You stay tuned for those vlogs. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, guys, unless you have any other questions while I'm on site here, I'm going to wrap this up. And I'm off to 2 haunts anyway in the Pittsburgh area. So look forward to those, including one haunt that was one of the first on this channel that I'm returning to, hopefully for the first time in 3 years, if it's not closed. All right, guys, always enjoy. Thanks for watching.